Okay guys, so this is a really big video for me that I sort of had an idea for a while back, and that for this video I'm going to be making a Disney classic tier list. And yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of different tier list videos on YouTube before, and so for this one I'm just gonna be ranking a lot of the 60 on Disney classics. So yeah, that'll be kind of interesting because even though this is my very first time making one of these videos, I'm going to be making one with videos with something that has over 60 different movies and all that. So, but I thought this would be a very fun thing to focus on, and I just thought it would be a lot of fun to experiment with it. And so this one might be a little bit different from a lot of my other videos, but I'm really excited to talk about all of these in some way because I've done reviews for some of these before, and so I'm looking forward to talking about all the rest of them individually and just give my thoughts on them. Also, since there's like 60 one of these movies, I'm just going to be giving my thoughts on each of these movies very quickly, because if I go on for too long, this would probably take too long. So I just thought this would be a really fun video to talk about, and so let's just get started with it. Okay guys, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to, basically I have all the Disney classics out in order of release, so I'm just going to list all of them like from S to F, and then I'm just gonna do each movie individually, and then I'll just give my quick thoughts on all of them as we're doing it. So I'll just give my brief thoughts on all of them, and so really let's get started. And so for the first one we have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is a pretty easy one. I'm putting this one into the A here. Come on, it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Of course it's going into the A here. It's pretty much the very first full-length animated movie ever. Back in 1937, I imagine this would have been, I don't even have to imagine, this was absolutely revolutionary and really huge for the time. And even all these years later, even though it came out almost 90 years ago, it's still a really good movie. And it actually has held up really well, just in terms of just being a really fun movie, and I do really like I guess some of it had kind of aged, I suppose, but I still do think it's a really good movie regardless. So really good movie that's going into the 8 here. Okay, next we have Pinocchio. This is doing the same. I think this is going to go right into the 8 here. I think this was actually a ginormous step up from Snow White. Clearly, even though Snow White was a really big deal at the time, I think Pinocchio was something that they were able to do a bit better, because clearly they had the experience of learning how to do all this properly in Snow White. So I imagine this would have been it was a bit easier that time, but also a bit harder because they made a lot of new industry stuff back then. So this was a really big step up. And again, it's just like Snow White. It still holds up even after all these years later, and especially for a movie that's now 83 years old. And it's still just a really good movie anyway. That's still going into the 8 here. Okay, next we have Fantasia. I think personally, I think I'm going to put this into the beat here because I do definitely acknowledge that it is a good movie, and I do definitely give credit that this was a very unique movie back then because this was in the way one folk story, which kind of like a concert movie, and yeah, like I do definitely acknowledge that it is a well-made movie, and I do know a lot of people would say it is their favorite, but I don't know. I don't really think it's my kind of movie. I mean, I do definitely, like I said, I do acknowledge that it is good, and I do see why people would see this as a good movie. But yeah, personally, it's just not something I would necessarily want to watch again. Even though, again, I do acknowledge it is good. Okay, next up we have Dumbo. Yeah, I think this is gonna be the same. I think I'm gonna put this in the beat here because yeah, like, even though, again, this was kind of going back to telling a movie, like an actual story, again, I personally didn't really see it as anything that phenomenal. Unlike Snow White and Pinocchio, where I can see myself watching those movies a lot, Dumbo is one I don't really know if I really want to watch again because I don't really think there's anything too incredible in it, even too incredible in it because, I don't know, I mean, I acknowledge it is good, like Fantasia, but I don't know, I just don't think there's anything that memorable or that incredible in it, but if you're pushing it in B, it is still good anyway. Okay, next up we have Bambi. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same again. I think it does go into the B here because, again, I guess I do like it more than Dumbo because there are definitely more memorable things in it because, yeah, I mean, it is, again, really, really good movie and definitely, and especially back in 1940, and that was a really big deal for the time, and especially given, like, how emotional the movie is, I definitely do see it as a good movie, but, yeah, like, I don't personally think I would want to see this movie again, although I guess I would prefer to see this more than Dumbo, and I guess maybe I just wouldn't want to see it all that much, especially because of how much I love the second movie, but yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in the beat here, because it is still a good movie anyway. Okay, next we have Saludos Amigos, and actually, for all of these movies, like for the next 6 of them, like Saludos Amigos all the way to The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna put all these movies into the G here. Like, yeah, pretty much all of these were just small, very small 40-minute, special movies where I don't know, like, even though I do know what was going on, like World War II was happening, so they just kind of made the kind of smaller movies that they were just kind of having to do because of the World War and all that, but I don't know, even with that, I don't really see any of these as that good because, yeah, like personally, when I first saw all of them, I personally just found all of them really, really boring. I just didn't really find them very interesting or very likable. They were just kind of after a while. Like, I do understand why they weren't full-length movies, but yeah, personally, I did just kind of find them all a bit boring, and that's actually why I'm putting all of them in at the same time, because I pretty much have the same thoughts on all of them. They're just kind of okay, I suppose. So yeah, that's all of them. Next we got Cinderella. I guess this is another one that I would put into the beat here, because even though, again, I actually do think it's better than Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi and all that, but I don't know, I personally still don't really know if I can say incredible in my opinion. I mean, again, back in 1950, I mean, this was technically the movie that saved the studio after World War II and all that. And again, I do acknowledge it is really good, and it definitely has some of the most famous moments from Disney in general, but I don't know if I can say it's all that impressive for me personally, because I don't think there's too much in it that's that memorable. I do definitely see why this would be an iconic Disney movie, but personally, I just don't really know if there's anything that memorable or that incredible in it. But again, still really, really good anyway. So next up we have Alice in Wonderland. Again, I'm going to put this in the beat here because I guess this one is a bit more entertaining than the last two, and something I do really admire about this movie, how they were able to do the animation and all that, and especially back in 1951, this was really, really impressive, especially just because of how crazy everything is, but still managing to make a story out of it. It is a really good movie, and I do definitely understand why this is a fan favorite for a lot of Disney fans. But yeah, I'm personally just gonna put it in the beat here because I personally just found it a little boring after a while, but it is still really good anyway. I do feel like this enough to say that it's good. Okay, next up is Peter Pan. This is definitely going into the S here. We finally have our first S here movie on here. I just love this movie. I personally think that between Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan, I just think Peter Pan is the better movie. I just love this movie. This is really, in terms of the first 14 Disney movie here, I personally think Peter Pan is the most entertaining and most fun Disney movie. I think it just has so many amazing aspects to it, and it's just really fun and entertaining from start to finish. It's really just one of the most fun Disney movies I've ever seen, and I really don't understand when some people say they prefer Alice in Wonderland to Peter Pan, and personally I've never really been able to understand why, because I just think Peter Pan has the more fun premise and just has the more fun execution. So yeah, definitely going into the S here. I love Peter Pan. It's definitely one of my favorite Disney movies ever. Okay, next up is Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, this is another one that's going into the S, into the beat here in my opinion, because again, like even though it does have some of the most iconic Disney moments of all time, it definitely doesn't really have that much else going on. I mean, again, I do really like this, and I actually do think I like it more than some of the other movies on here, but in terms of just how it is as a movie, I don't know if I can really say it's anything that incredible, but again, this is just my opinion, and I do think that it is really entertaining in some parts. I do feel really like it. Okay, next up we have Sleeping Beauty. This is another one that's going into the S here in my opinion. This is just another really incredible Disney movie in my opinion. I guess the one downside in my opinion is that the Aurora and Prince Philip stuff is kind of boring and not very interesting, but in my opinion everything to do with the fairies and Maleficent and all that is honestly what makes it so amazing in my opinion. I mean, it has Maleficent in it, who in my opinion, is the best Disney villain of all time. And then having the fairies in it, well, who are all really, really fun and likable, and very memorable as well. I just personally think having the fairies and Maleficent in it is what really makes it so amazing, in my opinion. And not to mention the fact that the animation is a lot different from the last few Disney movies, and so it helped make it a lot more memorable, in my opinion. I just really, really love Sleeping Beauty, and it has one of the best Disney climaxes of all time as well. I really, really love this. I just really, really love this movie, and I love how it has one of the best Disney villains in it, and some of the most fun Disney characters ever, in my opinion. So yeah, it's definitely going into the X here. Okay, now we have classic number 17, 101 Dalmatians. Yeah, I think I'm going to put this into the beat here alongside Lady and the Tramp. I'm actually not entirely sure how I feel about this movie, but I don't know. I personally didn't really like this film all that much, even though, again, it does have some of the most iconic Disney things in it, like Cruella de Vil and some of the action scenes, but I don't know. Personally, I just remember it being a bit boring when I first saw it, and even when I saw it again a few years ago, it was still a little bit boring, and yeah, I just didn't really find it all that entertaining after a while. But again, I do think that some of the really cool stuff like Cruella definitely helped the movie. So yeah, I'm happy to leave it into the beat here. Okay, next up we have the Sword and the Stone. Yeah, this is going into the sheet here, in my opinion. Yeah, I personally, I don't know, I feel like this movie kind of rubs me the wrong way, but not necessarily in like a bad way. I don't think this is a bad movie. I do acknowledge that it is good again, but I don't know, even though it does have a few cool elements in it, I don't think there's anything in here that's that good, in my opinion. I mean, I like Arthur and Merlin. They're definitely the best characters in the movie, and I do like their dynamic. But a lot of the movie is just kind of watching Arthur learn a lot of stuff, and I don't know, that got really boring for a while. So yeah, a lot of that just got really tedious to watch after a while. So yeah, I'm definitely putting it into the sheet here. I don't know, it's just not all that good, in my opinion, but it does have a really cool ending with Mad Madam Mim. I really like the end fight with her and Merlin. That was really fun. So yeah, it's going into the sheet here. Okay, next up we have the Jungle Book. This is definitely going into the 8 here, in my opinion. It has a lot of really great aspects to it. I really love all the relationships that the characters have, like the relationship that Mowgli has with Bagheera and Baloo and all that. And also Shere Khan is a really cool villain, and even though I don't know if I can put it into the S tier, it's still a really incredible. It definitely has some of the most amazing moments in all of Disney, in my opinion. It's just a really good movie, and I just think it's really, really, really likable. So yeah, definitely going into the A tier there. So now we have the Aristocats. Now, yeah, I'm personally gonna put this into the C tier. I don't know. I don't hate the movie like some people do. Some people think it's one of the worst Disney movies, and personally, I don't think so. I personally think it does have some really entertaining aspects to it, and some of the characters are kind of fun to watch. But yeah, some of it does get a little boring after a while, and it's not that memorable, in my opinion. But I do think that it is entertaining for a good portion of it. And even though there are some bad aspects the way it is still kind of fun in my opinion. So yeah, definitely going into the C here in my opinion. So next up we have Robin Hood. Yeah, this is just another one going into the A here in my opinion. I just love this movie. It's just one of the most fun Disney movies I've ever seen. It has so many awesome moments in it, and the characters are all really, really memorable. And I also just think Robin himself is a really underrated Disney hero. I just feel like they just made him very, very likable, and I really like his dynamic with everyone. Especially Little John and all that. I just think this is a really, really fun movie, and I also think it has one of the most hateable Disney characters ever with the Sheriff of Nottingham. I just feel like everything this movie does is just done really, really, really well. So yeah, I'm definitely leaving it in to be 8 here. And next up we have The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, this is going into the B here in my opinion. Even though it does have some of the best Disney characters ever in it, like Pooh himself especially, I just don't really think this is a movie that holds up that well for itself and all that. But I can safely say that I think this is a movie more geared towards just kind of a younger audience. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah, I can tell this is a movie that's not really made for adults and all that. It's mostly aimed at young children. But young children, I do think would really, really like this movie, and I do think that, and even though I don't love it necessarily, I do still really, really like it, and I do still like how it has some of the best Disney characters ever, and how all the characters are really likable and memorable. So I do definitely love that. I do love that aspect for it, but I don't know if I can push it any higher or anything like that. So yeah, that's going into the B here. Okay, next up we have the Rescuers. Yeah, this is going into the D here in my opinion. I really just didn't like this movie at all. Like, I just didn't find it very interesting. I just found it really, really boring, and so did a lot of other people. Some people have actually said that they think this movie is better than the second movie, but yeah, I personally just never saw it myself. It's just a really boring movie, and it doesn't really have a lot going on, and I don't know, it just feels like they just made it just to make another movie, and yeah, there's just not really anything that memorable about it. But I don't know, I don't think it's terrible, but yeah, it's definitely going into the D here in my opinion. Okay, next up we have The Fox and the Hound. This is another one that I think would go into the B here, because again, I actually think this is one of the more kind of underrated Disney movies, because it does have some really cool things about it. Like, it does have some really cool, I really, really like the friendship between Todd and Topper, and I do like how it has a pretty dark second half to it. Like, if you compare the first half of the movie to the second half, it's definitely a lot darker, and I like how it doesn't really try to be that child friendly. Like, it actually does have some really disturbing things in it. But yeah, it's definitely a good movie, but I don't know, I don't think it's one of those movies I would want to watch all that much again. But again, I do still really like it, and I remember it being one of the more kind of disturbing movies I saw when I was a kid and all that. Okay, so yeah, definitely going into the B here. Okay, next up we have The Black Cauldron. Yeah, this is going into the F here in my opinion. Yeah, this is pretty much the first Disney movie I can say is honestly just kind of really terrible. I don't think it's the worst Disney movie of all time, but yeah, it's definitely not a good movie at all. And yeah, there's just a lot of really bad aspects to it. It has a really, really annoying protagonist, and also just a really annoying side character. Well, I mean, it does have some cool elements to it, like the horned king and some of the action is kind of cool, but yeah, there's not really anything in here that can really say is anything very good, even though it has uh, one or two cool aspects to it. So, yeah, I'm personally just gonna put this into the F here. I just don't really think there's anything that good in it. Okay, next up we have the Great Mouth Detective. This is another one going in to the A here in my opinion. I just really, really love this movie. This was definitely a humongous improvement over the Black Cauldron. I just found this movie so much fun and so likable. I mean, I really like Baggio and Raffigan as characters. They're very, very fun. And yeah, just the whole movie in general is just a lot of fun. It's a lot of moving around and just kind of watching where the characters will be next. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I think it's one of the most fun Disney movies of all time. So yeah, it's definitely going in to be A here. Okay, next up we have number 27, Oliver and Company. Yeah, I'm gonna put this into the C here in my opinion. I kind of like what I said with the Aristocats. I don't hate this movie. I don't think it's that bad, but yeah, I don't really know if I can say it's really very good either. I don't know. I just really couldn't get into this movie, and even though it does have some cool things in it, especially at the end, there's not really anything that memorable in it, and I just don't really think it's worth watching a second time, but I don't think it's bad necessarily. It just doesn't have a lot going for it. So yeah, that's why it's going into the C here. Okay, next up we have The Little Mermaid. Okay, this is definitely going into the S here. This definitely helped bring Disney back for a really, really good reason. I love how this movie was what helped revamp Disney back in 1989 and I love how it basically started the Disney Renaissance and all that. And yeah, there's just so many amazing things in it. Like it has an amazing main villain, and it has an amazing finale as well, and it has some of the best Disney songs of all time. So yeah, I just really, 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 really love this movie, and I think it's one of the most fun Disney movies ever. It's definitely one of the best Disney movies of all time, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely going into the S there. Okay, next up we have The Rescuers Down Under. This is definitely going into the A here in my opinion. I don't know why people don't watch this movie that much, but yeah, this is definitely the most underrated Disney movie of all time. I just don't understand why people would dismiss this movie. It's definitely one of the most amazingly animated Disney movies ever. It was definitely a humongous improvement over the first one. And yeah, again, like, even though it is kind of random that they would make a sequel to The Rescuers, they just did a really good job of making it. And yeah, I'm just really, really happy that this is another Disney Renaissance movie. This was definitely a humongous improvement over the first movie, and it's definitely one of the most fun Disney movies ever, in my opinion, and definitely the most underrated Disney movie ever, in my opinion. I know a lot of other people's opinions as well, so yeah, that's going to be 8 here. Next up is classic number 30, Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, this is another one going in to be X here. I really cannot blame people when they say this is their favorite Disney movie. Some people say it's either this or Fantasia, but yeah, I'm definitely putting it into the S tier. It just has so many amazing aspects to it, and I just love how it does everything, like how it does the story and how it tells the story, and also how and I also just love the characters and the songs and everything. I just love that this was the Disney movie that won, that was nominated for Best Picture. So yeah, it was definitely a humongous achievement for the studio back then, and yeah, it definitely deserves it because it's a really phenomenal movie in general. So yeah, I really love it for that. It's definitely staying in the S tier. Okay, next up is Aladdin. Yeah, this is another one definitely going into the S tier. This is just another one of the most memorable and best Disney movies ever, in my opinion. This is just what a lot of other animated movies should be. This is exactly what got a lot of people into Disney. I mean, again, it's Aladdin, so you all know this movie, so you all know just how amazing and memorable and funny and likable it is. It just has so many amazing aspects to it, like an amazing cast of characters, and it has one of the funniest Disney characters of all time with Genie, and it even has a really cool villain with Jafar and all that. It's just a really great movie, and I just love it for that. Definitely getting into the S tier now. And next we have The Lion King. Definitely going into the S tier, in my opinion. I mean, it's The Lion King. Do I even really need to say anything else? I mean, it's The Lion King. Of course it's going into the S tier. This is just my favorite Disney movie of all time, and a lot of other people's favorite as well. I mean, when this movie came out, and even after all these years, it's still just an absolutely phenomenally humongous movie. It's just one of the best achievements Disney has ever made, and I just cannot praise this movie enough. I mean, everyone on the planet has pretty much seen this movie already, so there's not really that much I can add, but it's just such an amazing movie in general, and I just cannot stress enough how many times I've watched this movie, and I also just love it because of the humongous franchise that it started, because I still think that The Lion King 2 is the best Disney sequel of all time, and also I still really love the Lion Guard, so I just really love the franchise that this movie created and all that. So yeah, those four movies are definitely staying in the S tier. Okay, next up we have Pocahontas. Yeah, this is another one that kind of going into the C here, in my opinion. This is actually kind of a weird movie for me, but my brother and sister were talking about how much they loved this movie when they were younger, and I remember I didn't really see the movie for the first time until many years later, but yeah, when I saw it, I pretty much agreed with a lot of other people. Some people say this is what started the downfall of Disney animation, or at least 2D animation, and I don't know, I personally don't really think it's terrible or anything that bad, but yeah, I don't really know if I can say it's very good either. I don't know, it has a few cool elements to it, like the songs and the voice acting and all that, but yeah, I just don't really see this as anything that phenomenal. I just don't really think there's anything that good in it, and even though it's not that bad, it's not really very good either. So yeah, definitely staying into the C here. It's just a very mid movie, in my opinion. So yeah, there. So next up we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Definitely going into the A here, in my opinion. Yeah, this was I think this is another really underrated Disney movie. movie. And in terms of the Disney animated movies, this is definitely the darkest out of all of them. I don't know, I just feel like out of all the Disney classics they've made so far, this is the darkest out of all of them. It just has so many horrifying and disturbing and graphic moments to it, and yeah, there's just a lot of really dark and disturbing aspects to it, and I love how Disney was willing to take that risk back then. And yeah, it has a very dark premise and a very dark main villain, and how it does everything else is just really dark and disturbing. But it's all still just told extremely well, and it's all still just a really, really good movie to begin with. And even if you didn't want to see it all that much, I do think you should anyway, because it is still a really, really well made movie in my opinion. It's just a really great movie from start to finish. So yeah, so next up we have Hercules, another one that's going in to be A here in my opinion. This is just one of the most nostalgic Disney movies ever in my opinion. This is one of the movies I watched the most ever since I was a kid. I just love this movie from start to finish. I just think it's one of the most fun Disney movies ever. It has an amazing main villain, and it also has really unique animation, and yeah, I just really, really like all the characters, and just how they do everything else is really, really fun. I just really, really love this movie, so definitely getting in the A here in my opinion. Okay, next up is Mulan. Yeah, another one going into the 8 here in my opinion. This is just another really, really fun Disney movie that has so many famous aspects to it. I mean, the fact that they came out in 1998 is already kind of impressive, but I also just think that it's just a really well-made movie in general, with how they have Mulan pretending to be a guy just to save her dad and all that, and yeah, just how they do everything, especially at the very end with the climax and all that. It's just a really fun ride from start to finish. So yeah, I definitely think this is a really, really fun movie. Next up we have Tarzan. Yeah, I'm personally gonna put this into the beat here, because even though I don't think there's anything terrible in it, I personally don't think there's anything that phenomenal in it either. Because, yeah, I mean, it does have some really, really great aspects to it, and it is a really, really good movie, but personally, I don't think this is one of the Disney movies I want to watch the most. I don't know, I just personally really couldn't get that into it, even though it is a very, very fun and entertaining movie. I just don't think there's anything that phenomenal in it. But it does have some really fun aspects to it, and it does have some cool elements to it. But yeah, I'm just gonna put it into the beat here, because I don't think there's anything that incredible in it. But it is still really, really good regardless. Okay, next up is Fantasia 2000. Yeah, this is another one going into the beat here, just like the first movie. Kind of like the first movie, this is just another one of those movies that I personally just can't really get that into, in my opinion. I mean, some people have said that they just don't like the movie because of how much sillier it is, but personally I just don't really, even though I personally didn't really mind that, I just didn't really like it all that much because of the first movie. I don't know, it's just one of those films where I just couldn't really get into it. But yeah, I mean, again, I do acknowledge that is really well made for most of it, but yeah, some of it just doesn't really hold up that much in my opinion, so it's getting a B here. Okay, next up is The Emperor's New Groove. Definitely going into the A here in my opinion. Definitely the funniest Disney movie of all time in my opinion. I love how this movie went for just a complete comedy and it just paid off really well. It just has some of the most fun Disney moments of all time and some of the funniest moments ever. And yeah, I mean, for something that's that ho-ho comedy through and through, I just really love how it handled everything to it. And it's also just a fun road trip movie as well, just in terms of everything they do for it. It's just a really fun movie from start to finish, and it definitely just so hilarious from start to finish. Wow, I just love this movie, and I definitely can't blame people when they say that it's their favorite of all time as well. Like, and in terms of animated comedies, this might be the best out of all of them. So yeah, it's definitely going into the A here. Okay, next up is Atlantis the Lost Empire. Definitely going into the A here in my opinion. I personally really don't understand what people don't like about this movie. I mean, yeah, again, it does have some bad things to it. There are some bad choices and some weird elements to it, but in terms of a movie that just wants to be a fun adventure movie, I just think this movie does so much right and does some really interesting stuff, like some of the world building and all that. And yeah, for a movie that was supposed to be like a sci-fi movie but still have a bit of a fantasy element to it, it was just a really fun movie from start to finish, and I really don't understand why people don't like this movie. It's just so amazing in my opinion. Okay, maybe not amazing, but it is still really good in my opinion. Okay, next up is Lilo and Stitch. Another one going into the A here. Yeah, into the A here. This is just another one of the best movies that Disney has ever made in terms of all the memorable aspects to it. I just love this movie. It has some of the most likable Disney moments of all time and some of the most likable Disney characters of all time. And I also love how, even though it had kind of a silly premise, it still takes it so seriously when it needs to, and yeah, I just really love it for that. Even though I don't think it's necessarily one of my favorite Disney movies ever, it's still a really great movie in general, and I really love how it started the Lilo and Stitch franchise, like with the movies and the TV shows and all that. I just love how it made this entire franchise. So yeah, it's going into the 8 here in my opinion. Next up is Treasure Planet. Yeah, this is going into the B here in my opinion. Yeah, I don't hate this movie. In fact, I do think this is another good movie in my opinion, but personally, I just don't really think there's anything that amazing in it. Like, even though, like, some people like to compare this and Atlantis the Lost Empire together, and I don't know, like, even though I do kind of see what they mean, I personally don't think there's anything that memorable in this movie. I mean, it does have some really likable characters in it, and it does have some nice animation and some cool world building moments, but still, I don't think there's anything that memorable in this. But personally, I do think that it is underrated, and I do think that it does have some great aspects to it. But yeah, definitely, but I'm going to leave it in the B here because again, I personally don't think there's anything that memorable in it. Okay, next up is Rubber Bear. Yeah, he's going into the seat here in my opinion. I don't know, personally, I just don't really think this is that good. I guess I did kind of like this a bit more when I was younger because I first saw this movie with my family like a long time ago, and I remember just kind of thinking it was pretty good back then, but nowadays it kind of, in my opinion, like I don't think there's anything that good in the film, and there are some parts of it that are kind of annoying. But personally, I think what they do at the start of the movie and what they do at the end of the movie is really, really good. I do really think that it has some underrated moments, but yeah, everything else is either kind of bad or kind of annoying to just not very good. But yeah, I do think it does have some really good aspects to it, and I do think it should be in the seat here. So yeah, so now we have Home on the Range, definitely going into the F tier. This definitely, I can definitely understand why this made Disney stop doing 2D animation. Yeah, it definitely has, in my opinion, out of all the Disney animated films they've made, this is definitely the worst out of all of them. It just has so many terrible things in it. It has really, really annoying characters, really boring moments, and yeah, the whole film is just kind of boring and not very memorable, and yeah, pretty much everything else in it is just really, really bad. It just has some really terrible jokes in it, and yeah, just everything else in it is just really, really bad. I just understand why this movie was the downfall for 2D animation for a while. So next up we have Chicken Little, another one that's going into the F tier. I guess I'm a little bit shocked on this movie because this actually was the very first Disney movie I ever, or this was technically the first Disney classic I ever saw in the cinema, so I guess I am a little bit shocked on it, but yeah, it's still a really, really, really bad movie in my opinion. Like, just from everything they try to do in this movie in terms of like the world building and all, and also just the jokes and the characters are just really, really bad in my opinion, and so yeah, definitely just another really terrible movie, and I just don't understand why this was the first but I just don't understand why this was the first CG Disney movie ever in my opinion. So yeah, okay, so this is where things get a little more complicated because next up we have The Wild, and I don't know, like, I've been told a long time that this is a Disney classic, but it's also not a Disney classic, so I don't know, personally, I'm just going with what I've been going with for a long time, so I'm definitely just using The Wild as the 46 Disney classic. So yeah, like, I know some people will say, like, Dinosaur should be on here, but I just haven't had that as a Disney movie forever, so yeah, I just don't really count it, but, so yeah, I'm just going with The Wild. Yeah, I've been going into the D here in my opinion. Yeah, I actually don't hate this movie. I actually do think there are some good things in the movie. Like, it does have a few good jokes, and it does have some likable characters, but yeah, it does have the same problem. I feel the same problem as Chicken Little and Meet the Robinson. Like, it just has that early 2000 Disney movie aspect to it, like bad music and some kind of predictable jokes and all that. But yeah, I personally, I don't think it's that bad. I do think there are some fun aspects to it, but yeah, it's definitely getting in the D here. I don't think there's anything that good in it, in my opinion. So next up we have Meet the Robinson. Yeah, this is another one going into the deep here in my opinion. Yeah, when I first saw this movie, I was really bored by it, and also just kind of weirded out by it. I just didn't really see the movie as anything that good in my opinion, and it does have some really bad aspects to it. Basically, just how it goes on, and it's just kind of boring after a while. But I don't know. I don't think it's the worst Disney movie ever, but yeah, it's just not really anything very good either. I just couldn't really get into it very much. But yeah, so that's that. So next up we have Bold. This is another movie going into the beat here in my opinion. I remember liking this movie a lot when I was younger. I really liked the movie when I was a kid. But nowadays, even though I do think it is still really good, I don't think there's anything that incredible in it, and it does have a couple of moments I'm not a fan of. But I don't know, I still think it's a really good movie. And I'm still really happy that it is a Disney classic, and it does have some likable characters as well. So it is still a good movie anyway. So next up we have The Princess and the Frog. It's definitely going into the S here in my opinion. I remember the first time I saw this movie almost 10 years ago. I just absolutely love this movie. This actually was my favorite Disney movie for a long time until I just kind of thought about it a bit more. But this is still an amazing movie in my opinion. In my opinion, this just has so many amazing aspects to it, and I really like how this kind of did 2D animated movie one more time for a Disney classic. And yeah, as a movie, I just think it's amazing. I remember the first time I watched it, it just filled me with so many emotions, and I just loved it so much. And even though I don't think I necessarily love it the same way I used to, I do still really love it, and I think it's one of the most underrated Disney movies ever in my opinion. I just love it so much. So next up we have Tangled. This is going into the 8 here in my opinion. In my opinion, I personally don't think it's as good as The Princess and the Frog, but it is still a really great movie anyway. I actually like it more nowadays than I did when I was a kid, but I do still really like it. I do acknowledge it is a great movie. It just has some of the most fun Disney moments in the last few years, and it has so many amazing aspects of it. And yeah, I just really adore this movie more than I used to, and it just has a lot of really fun aspects to it. But personally, I don't think there's anything that amazing in it, and that's why it can be 8 here, but it's still a really great movie anyway. And next up we have Wreck-It Ralph. So another one going into the X here in my opinion. This is just another really great movie in my opinion. I remember seeing this movie 11 years ago and just really liking it. And again, even after all the years, I still think it's a really great movie. It has some of the best Disney writing ever in my opinion. It has some of the best aspects to it, and yeah, just how they do everything in it is just so amazing. And I love the video game aspect to it. It's just such an amazing movie in my opinion. And I just really love how this movie did so many things right in my opinion. So yeah, in the S here. Okay, next up is Frozen. Another one going into the S here. I know some people will probably kill me for saying that, but this is definitely one of the best Disney movies ever. Yet, I know some people got annoyed with the constant advertisement and product for it all the time after the movie came out. And yeah, for a while I got kind of annoyed about seeing it everywhere as well. But I do still feel like the movie itself is really, 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 really good. I still love the movie so much. And this is actually kind of like Handle, where I like it more nowadays than I used to. But because, again, I do still think that it's an amazing movie with so many amazing aspects to it. Where it has some of the best writing in a Disney movie ever, and how it does a lot of other things like that is a lot of fun. And again, it's just another really fun adventure movie, and how it does that is a lot of fun. So yeah, I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but I'm pushing this in the S here because it's still an amazing movie in my opinion. Okay, next up is Big Hero 6. Another one going into the S here in my opinion. This is another movie I just absolutely adore. I was really surprised by the fact that this was based on a Marvel comic, and how they kind of implement that throughout the movie is a lot of fun, and I just really, really, really love the movie. And again, just how they do everything in terms of the animation and the action is just a lot of fun, and how they do everything else is a lot of fun as well. And yeah, just how they do everything else is really, really great in my opinion. So yeah, in the S here, next up is Utropolis, or Utopia here from America. Yeah, another one going into the S here. I'm not gonna lie, out of every single Disney movie that's ever been made, I think Utropolis might have the best whole story. Like in terms of a story for a Disney movie, I think this might have the best story in my opinion. Like again, like for something that came out in 2016, how they handled a lot of the serious aspects, it was really, really, really impressive. And just how they handled a lot of the other issues is really impressive for a Disney movie. And even if you don't pick up on those aspects, it's still an amazingly fun movie in general. Like how they handle everything else in the movie in terms of the animation and the story, and also just the characters like Yuji and Nick is a lot of fun, and how they do that is really amazing in my opinion. So yeah, definitely in the S here. Next up we have Moana, another one going into the S here in my opinion. This is just another one of the most underrated Disney movies ever in my opinion. I just really, really loved this movie when I first saw it, and even after all these years, it's still a really great movie in my opinion. It has some of the most fun Disney moments ever in my opinion, and personally, I think it might be the best looking Disney movie ever. Just how they do the animation in this movie in terms of like the water and other things like that are really, really impressive, especially for something that came out 7 years ago. It's really, really impressive. So yeah, definitely in the S here, and I have to thank this for just being just a great movie in general. Next up is Route Breaks the Internet. Yeah, this is going into the deep here in my opinion. I actually really, really liked the movie when I first saw it over 5 years ago, but yeah, ever since then I've watched it again, and yeah, it's not very good in my opinion. Like, I heard some people had a problem with it before, after watching it, and for a while I didn't understand because I really, really enjoyed it when I first saw it, but yeah, when I first saw the movie for a second time about 2 years ago, yeah, I could kind of understand understand why people didn't like the movie. And yeah, I personally just didn't really like it, but second time either. Like, it does have a few fun elements in it, but it's mostly just kind of boring, and some of the characters make some really, really bad decisions. So yeah, there are some really, really bad elements to it that make it kind of bad in my opinion. But again, I don't think it's terrible, just not very good. Next up is Frozen 2. Another one kind of going into the deep here in my opinion. Again, it's kind of like what I said about Route Race the Internet. When I first saw it, even though I did have some problems with but I still thought it was kind of a fun movie. But yeah, after watching it a second time, I do understand why people say this wasn't a good movie. And yeah, I can kind of understand why they thought that because yeah, there are a lot of really bad elements of the movie and not making any sense for some of it, and some of it does go on too long, and it can get kind of annoying and tedious to get through after a while. But personally, I just don't think it's that terrible. But yeah, it's not really a good movie either, in my opinion. Next up, we have Raya and the Last Dragon. Definitely going into the X here, in my opinion. In my opinion, this was a humongous improvement over the last couple of movies. Like after Route Race the Internet and Frozen 2, this is definitely what Disney needed, especially after the coronavirus as well. I mean, this was just such a fun movie in my opinion. How they do everything in the movie in terms of the action and the animation and all that is a lot of fun, and I just really, really, really love the movie, and it quickly became one of my favorite Disney movies ever, in my opinion. It's just a really, really fun movie, and how they do everything else in the movie is a lot of fun. I just really, really love the movie. Okay, next up we have Encanto. This is going into the 8 here, in my opinion. I don't necessarily think this is one of the best Disney movies ever, in my opinion, but it's still really, really, really good. I really enjoyed it the first time, and even after watching it a second time, it's still a really great movie, and there are a lot of really great aspects to it. But personally, I don't think there's anything in here that would make it one of the best Disney movies ever, in my opinion, but it is still really, really good regardless, and I am really happy I saw it. So I do think that it is a great movie in general. So yeah, definitely getting to the 8 here. Okay, next up we have Brave World. This is going into the D here, in my opinion. I actually made a review for this movie back last year, so if you want more thoughts on it, you'll see that. But yeah, when I saw this movie, I was kind of on the fence about it because some people were saying that it wasn't very good, and yeah, when I saw it, I agreed with them. I think this is one of the most boring Disney movies ever, in my opinion, and how it does a lot of elements in it is really, really, really bad, in my opinion. And yeah, it just has some of the most boring Disney characters ever, in my opinion. And yeah, in general, just how they tell the story is just really, really boring for most of it, and I just didn't really find it very fun or likable. I was just really, really bored watching the movie, and I just really didn't want to watch it again. So yeah, it's getting in the deep here, in my opinion. And finally, the newest Disney classic, which I'm personally gonna put this into the C here. I made a review for this movie recently, so if you want more of my thoughts on it, you'll watch the movie here. But overall, definitely not a terrible movie, but yeah, just kind of a bad movie, in my opinion. opinion. I personally just found a lot of elements in it really bad and boring and kind of stupid and not and also the pacing was really terrible, and yeah, just how they do a lot of elements in it are really bad. I mean, if like I said in my review, there are some good elements to it, like some of the songs and the voice acting and some of the characters are likable, but yeah, there are a lot of really bad elements to it. And again, if you want more of my thoughts, just go watch my review for it. So yeah, that's pretty much all that for Wish. I personally just didn't think this was a really good movie at all. So yeah, that's pretty much all. So yeah, we went back all 60, one of the Disney classic Friends. So and I'm really happy with the way this came out. So yeah guys, that's my tier list of all 60 on Disney classics so far. So yeah, I realize this video went on probably way too long, but that is because there are just so many Disney classics and there are a lot of there were just so many things I wanted to say. But yeah, I'm sorry if I bored some of you with some of that, but I just really wanted to give my thoughts on it on them as much as I could in the short amount of time I wanted to make it. But yeah, it ended up being much longer than I thought. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's my tier list for all the Disney classics so far in my very first tier list video. I'm hoping to make some more videos like this, and thankfully they're not going to be anywhere near as long as this one was, but I'm hoping to make one for the Pixar movies, maybe the DreamWorks movies, and a few other movies like that. But yeah, we'll just see when we get to those. But for now, I'm just really happy with the way they turned out, and I hope all of you like it as well. So yeah guys, that's my Disney classic here list. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all like this video. If you did, then please like this video. Please comment down below to tell me what you think, or even tell me what your favorite Disney movies are. And please follow me on Twitter at Daniel Maloney. Maloney Haitian Disney fan, where I do Kingdom Hearts and Disney Please every day. And if you know someone who might like my content, then please help share my channel in any way you can to help my channel grow. And please subscribe for more content like this coming soon. I'll see you all next time. Take care.